So regarding counterfeit merchandise, and they're obviously as we buy more and more things online, as we buy more and more things from different sources all over the world, there's this opportunity for people to do copycat merchandise or to, it may not even be fair to call it false pretenses. But certified life jacket. Well, life jacket, there are technical senses of the word life jacket that are approved and defined and other things like that in standards that we use. But it's Kleenex, right? It's a generic term. So it's very easy for somebody to say it's a life jacket. If it doesn't have a US Coast Guard approval or a Transport Canada approval for our Canadian group, it it probably doesn't meet the standards and the requirements of product that you may want to have. Now, that's not true for everything, and there are other world standards, ISO standards being ISO 12402 standards. But I know one of the areas of confusion because I've seen products is somebody will come online and say this life jacket is ISO 9001 certified. Well, it doesn't have a US Coast Guard approval and it doesn't have a Transport Canada approval. And an ISO 9001 approval doesn't mean anything at all, except that whoever manufactured it has a quality assurance program in place at their facility. Well, that's great, but it was not swim tested, it wasn't human subject tested, it doesn't offer any of the tensile tests or strength testing, or there's no proof of anything for you as a consumer or anyone else. So we've strongly suggested for a long time that you look for, first and foremost, the U.S. Coast Guard approval. The UL mark is actually a great one to look for because while the U.S. Coast Guard is somewhat limited in their ability to chase down bad actors who are using their name in bad faith, UL chases hard. they they are very protective of their mark, and most of the flotation devices that we certify for US and Canada are actually certified by UL. So they'll have a UL mark as well as a US Coast Guard approved or a Transport Canada approval number, or often both. But anyway, those are really crucial things to look for. And the problem is without that, or without a really legitimate certification, which given the breadth of the world, I think you really want to look for the Coast Guard mark and or TC, and then the UL mark to go with it. And you've got a much better handle on that. And if you can't find that online or find that reference in your product description, it's probably something to be careful about. I mean, one of the reasons that counterfeit goods are popular is because it's an enormous investment for everybody who manufactures approved product and certified product. It's not a small thing to go through the process. It's a pretty rigorous testing program, which is not to say that you you don't find that we can't design something that works perfectly for every human body out there, and we don't test all of every human body, but we have a very robust testing program, and we try awfully hard to make it work for absolutely everybody we can, and deliver safe product. And I think, that's actually, I've worked in the Life Jacket Association, or before that PFDMA, for 20 plus years. And that's one of the wonderful things about the industry. And that's one of the things I love about your conference is that, it gives us, there's just such a huge amount of community support to try and get this right. So It's a really fascinating space to work through, and a great industry to be working with. There's still there is a requirement for people to be able to see the placard and or the ThinkSafe pamphlet, depending on the device and when it was, which standards developed under at the point of sale. But that even that still doesn't convey to the e-com side as well. I mean, Mustang does that. We make sure those are published along with our our website placements, but not everybody does that, and not everybody can. So that's a good feature to look for if you are actually buying something online. Look for that Think Safe or the Safe Choice placards, and also approval labels. Often people will publish those, but not everybody does that. Oh, I know. The other great trick is the CG Mix site, which I think you actually referenced before. So you've already got a referral to that in in a different, but that is a fabulous resource for consumers to just go look up. Okay, is this a legitimate? Am I looking at a legitimate piece? Because you can, if you know the manufacturer, you know the model number, you'll be able to find it if it's USCG approved.